The kick is up, and it is way right. It's no good. But what is good? Kansas City gets the victory to go 8-1 at the bye week on a hard-fought victory over the Carolina Panthers.
You can breathe now, Chiefs Kingdom. The Chiefs held on in a thriller on Sunday, coming back from an early double-digit deficit and holding off a relentless Panthers rally. But as that 67-yard field goal sailed wide right, the Chiefs moved to 8-1 on the year and will head into the bye week feeling pretty good. Lots to go over here. We'll have audio from Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, plus the radio calls from Mitch Holthus. But first, let's hear from Coach Reid.
Had a couple of injuries. Taco Charlton looks like he's got a fracture in his lower leg there. So we'll get more information on that tomorrow. But for right now, that's what we have for you. So, and then Antonio Hamilton strained his hamstring. Fenton sprained his left ankle a bit. So those guys will get worked on. We're going to the bye here, so we have a little time on that. Good. Again, a good team win. It was great to see the defense just bear down that last drive. And we were able to get off the field. Some strategic things that they did. I thought, well, that last play, easier said than done when you have a good kicker like they do to protect the sideline, you know, where we did, and not allow them to get to the 40, which they tried to do. And you saw his last kick. I mean, he's got big legs. So, and then I was proud of the offense and the job that they did. We had a great game plan, and the guys, I thought, executed it well. I think overall, both sides of the ball, probably too many penalties. We need to take care of business there. But we'll keep working on that. The bottom line is, I mentioned this to you guys earlier, that this is a good football team. They're good on special teams. They're good on offense and defense. They're well coached, and they've got good talent. So their future is bright. And so we knew we were going to have our hands full today. And I was just proud of the guys bearing down. Sometimes it's tough to do that when you're back in a bye week, but the guys put it down when they needed to.
Tough, hard-nosed victory on Sunday. The Panthers wanted this one bad. That was obvious, but the Chiefs found a way to hold on. It's not always going to be perfect, but a win is a win, and the Chiefs are 8-1 heading into the bye week. They'll now get a chance to rest up and get ready for some major matchups down the home stretch as the run-it-back tour really kicks into high gear. All right, let's jump into the game. All week, we talked about how this Carolina offense was about slowly moving the ball down the field with the running game and short passes, and that's exactly what we saw on the Panthers' opening drive. They went 75 yards on 15 plays and chewed up 9 minutes of clock, converting 2 third downs and a fourth down, the latter of which not only moved the chains, but ended with a 9-yard touchdown catch by Panthers tailback Christian McCaffrey. The Chiefs answered with a pretty impressive drive of their own, picking up 4 first downs, but the series stalled around the Carolina 20, and the Chiefs settled for a field goal to at least narrow the deficit. Still, it was important for the Chiefs to get on the board there. We hear a lot about the blueprint to beat the Chiefs. It's essentially playing keep away. We know teams are going to try to do that, but the key is not letting it affect this group's mindset. Patrick Mahomes spoke a bit about that post-game.
I think that just comes with experiences that we've had. We've been in these type of games before, and we haven't had as much success. And so I think guys are ready to go and knew how critical that first drive was to get a drive going, get our defense some time to rest up. And we did a good job of moving it down the field and 3 points on the board. And so it's something that you have to learn from your experiences and really just play the game no matter what the situation is.
Kansas City then thought they had Carolina stopped on their next series, but the Panthers weren't messing around here. Rather than kick the ball away, their punter fired a 28-yard pass for the fake to move the chains. And just a few plays later, the Panthers were back in the end zone when wide receiver Curtis Samuel took a quick pop pass around the edge for a 14-yard score. It was 14-3, and it was clear the Panthers were pulling out all the stops in this one. The Chiefs are the hunted nowadays. This is the game circled on the schedule for opponents, and early on, Carolina was executing. The Chiefs were still moving the ball offensively, though, and they cut into that deficit on their ensuing possession when Harrison Butker connected on a 55-yard field goal. Get this, that was Butker's third field goal this year of at least 55 yards. Coming into Sunday's games, no other kicker had more than one. Kansas City's defense then forced a Carolina punt on their next series, and a bad one at that, netting just 21 yards, and the Chiefs took full advantage of it. Patrick Mahomes found Travis Kelce for 23 yards on the first play of the drive, moving them into Panthers territory, marking the first of 3 connections between that duo on this drive before Mahomes hit Tyreek Hill for a gain of 14 down to the Panthers' 1-yard line. This brings us to yet another example of why Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are the absolute best. Mahomes acts like he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage. He walks to his right as if he's speaking to Travis Kelce up front. Then he runs to his left, catches a snap as he's running, does a 360, rolls to his right, and fires a dart to Demarcus Robinson for the touchdown.
Mahomes in motion, comes back to the ball, and catches, fires for the end zone, caught, touchdown! Kansas City, Demarcus Robinson on a 2-yard touchdown pass. And for Mahomes, the 98th touchdown pass of his career, the 19th consecutive game with such a strike, but not a play like that one, a new wrinkle.
I just love that play call. It's an example of how Reed and Mahomes were made for each other, and it had the Chiefs in the end zone. Here's what Coach Reed had to say about that play after the game.
Yeah, so the last 3 weeks, Pat's been messing around with it. And so I told him, I said, we're going to put it in. And he looked at me like I was crazy. But he'd been doing it, and it looked good. So I said, it looks good. Let's try it. And so we tried it. He goes down there during special teams, and he was messing around with a couple things. And so we put it in, and it worked.
And here's some additional background from Patrick Mahomes' point of view.
Yeah, so you see me, I think, in training camp before practice, and I'm taking snaps with the centers. And so obviously I'm doing formations and stuff like that. And I started going in motion. And then after that, I had to go to Tom Melvin, our tight ends coach, and asked if it was legal for me to be in motion. And he said as long as everyone was set. And so then after I got that, I took it to special teams and I started working with Trav and Tyreek on these different plays that we could run from it. And I had to start throwing like little hints to Coach Reed that we needed to try it out. And it finally got it in, and it worked out well.
Generational talent combined with a tenacious curiosity to get better. It's what makes this team so special, and on this particular play, it had the Chiefs within a point. The Panthers added a field goal a drive later, and then both squads went on to miss field goal attempts, keeping the margin locked in at 4 points in favor of Carolina until late in the third quarter. When facing a 3rd and 7 at midfield, Mahomes found Kelce deep downfield for a gain of 44 yards.
6:09 to go the third quarter. Again, furious rush. Now Kelce wide open at the Carolina 30 right side. At the 25, stiff arms a defender, lowers the shoulder and trucks the dude and gets down to the 13-yard line. Travis Kelce, over 100 yards receiving, a huge chunk play on 3rd and long.
Huge play there as part of a monster day for Kelce, and it really seemed to get this group going offensively. Here's what Mahomes had to say about that play post-game.
The out and up one, we run that play a lot where we kind of have Trav in that position. He runs a lot of out routes and in routes. And so after we had ran it earlier in the game, we had noticed that they were really trying to drive it and really trying to make plays on the ball. And so when we got the right opportunity, we called that play, and it was a great call, and he ran a great route, and I tried to get the ball to him, and it kind of got the drive going again, and we were able to go down and put points on the board.
Yep, as Patrick said, the Chiefs had the lead 2 plays later as Mahomes found Clyde Edwards-Helaire for a 4-yard touchdown.
They fake it on end around. Now they throw it near side, caught, near side, touchdown! Kansas City, shades of Super Bowl 54 on the play that gave the Chiefs the lead in that game. A crisscross action in the backfield, sprint out by Mahomes, and he found Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and the Chiefs have their first lead of the game at 19-17 at 4:42 to go, third quarter.
Consider this if you're Carolina. You've played well, you haven't turned it over, you've taken chances, and you've led most of the game. But just like that, in the blink of an eye, the Chiefs are suddenly in front. It's the beauty of this team, and they kept the momentum rolling on defense when Frank Clark sacked Teddy Bridgewater on Carolina's next drive.
Bridgewater turning right now, left, now being hit and sacked! Frank Clark got him! The Shark that time jumped on shore to catch his prey. Can Sharks run? Yeah, Clark can. And Bridgewater goes down for a sack back at the 31.
Clark was a one-man wrecking crew on that 3-play sequence, eventually forcing a Panthers punt. Then, facing a 3rd down at midfield on the Chiefs' next drive, Mahomes found Hill for 26 yards down the sideline before connecting with Hill again, this time for a 28-yard touchdown.
They fake the draw to Bell. Mahomes will launch it for the end zone. Wide open, Tyreek Hill! Touchdown! Kansas City! He could be playing Madden in his easy chair in his man cave for an easy touchdown. Carolina blows coverage, and the Chiefs have the coveted 2-possession lead at 14:23 to go in the game.
This was another example of how explosive this offense can be. It was 3rd down at midfield, and then 30 seconds later, the Chiefs are celebrating a touchdown that has them up 2 scores. Carolina wasn't going to go away, though. They converted a 4th and 14 on their next drive en route to a 4-yard touchdown scramble by Teddy Bridgewater, narrowing the deficit to just 2 points. And they continued to pull out all the stops, too. In a game where they had already had a 4th down conversion and a fake punt, the Panthers surprised everybody with an onside kick. Keep in mind, there was still about 10 minutes left in the game. This wasn't a dire situation by any means, but the Panthers went for it. And after an illegal touching penalty meant it was Chiefs ball in great field position, Mahomes made them pay. He found Travis Kelce for 13 yards on 3rd down, and then just a bit later, Mahomes found Tyreek Hill once again, this time for a 2-yard touchdown to put the Chiefs back up by 9 points.
They fake the jet sweep. They throw it right side. Caught at the right front pylon. Touchdown, Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes, 4 touchdown passes, 101 in his career, the fastest in National Football League history, doing so in his 40th game to reach that benchmark, and the Chiefs, with the PAT, can go back up 2 scores.
All right, that kind of felt like the nail in the coffin, right? But again, the Panthers kept fighting, and you have to respect them for that. They drove down the field and found the end zone once again as Christian McCaffrey plunged ahead for a 1-yard score, pulling the game within 2 points with just under 2 minutes left. A first down would end it, but the Chiefs couldn't pick one up, giving the ball back to Carolina inside their own 10 with 1 minute and 33 seconds left. A field goal wins the game. Tension was high. I'm technically not supposed to show any emotion in the press box, but I was standing up at this point with my hands on my knees watching this thing unfold. They got the ball to midfield, but no further, setting up an interesting decision for head coach Matt Rule. Go for the Hail Mary or attempt a 67-yard field goal? They tried the latter, and despite a big leg from kicker Joey Sly, the kick sailed way wide right, and the Chiefs had the victory. My blood pressure probably wasn't happy with me, but like I said earlier, a win is a win, and the Chiefs are 8-1 heading into the bye. All right, let's take a quick look at my 3 stats to know from this game. My first stat is 100. Patrick Mahomes reached 100 career touchdown passes in this one in just 40 career games, becoming the fastest player in NFL history to do so. The guy just keeps breaking records, and now 9 games into this season, he's thrown 25 touchdowns to just 1 pick. If the Chiefs keep winning and he continues at this rate, the guy is the MVP of the league. And here's the thing, he feels like he's only getting better.
I think I just understand the game more. I was saying it last year whenever I didn't have as many stats to kind of back it up, I guess you say. I felt like I was playing better last year than I did the year before. And so this year, obviously, we're getting the touchdowns that we didn't have last year, I guess you would say. But I feel like every single year I'm more comfortable within the offense. I'm more comfortable reading defenses, and I understand where the ball's may go even before the snap of the ball.
I'll tell you what, that is terrifying for the rest of the NFL. My second stat is 272. That's how many yards Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill combined for on Sunday. We talked a lot last week about how much the Chiefs spread the ball around. 10 different guys caught a pass, and that was significant. But sometimes you need your stars to carry you in a tough game like this, and that's exactly what Kelce and Hill did. Here's what Kelce had to say after the game about Hill's growth as a receiver and how it's helped him get better too.
Where he's taken his game to a whole other level is the route running. I mean, you can't put a cap on his speed. It's just you can't do it. And when we see it week in, week out, he got open again today, deep, and it was just, a lot of wind. So him and Pat didn't connect on it. But I mean, it's every single week. It's not necessarily how do you stop Tyreek Hill? It's how do you contain him? And you can't contain the cheetah, man. He just keeps taking his game to another level. The biggest big play threat in the game, man. And that's where it makes my job a whole lot easier because he just draws so much attention being him.
Lastly, my final stat is 23. I know I've mentioned this one a few times lately, but it's worth repeating. The Chiefs scored at least 23 points for the 23rd consecutive game on Sunday, breaking the NFL record that they set between the 2018 and 2019 seasons. Basically, scoring at least 23 points is automatic for this team, which is absolutely ridiculous when considering how difficult that actually is to do in the National Football League. It is just incredible. So here we are, everybody. We're halfway done with the title defense campaign, and the Chiefs are 8-1. They've won football games in just about every way imaginable, but something that stands out to me is that they're getting everybody's best shot as the defending champs, and they're still finding ways to win. It's not always going to be perfect, but they find a way, and we saw that on Sunday. Travis Kelce spoke a bit about the mentality of this group after the game.
I think we just take it week by week, day by day. Nobody's really thinking about, we're the defending champs, we're this, we're that. We know who we are, and we're confident that we can win every football game that we go into because of the coaches, the schemes, the players that we have in this building, and it's hats off to the Panthers today for coming in and fighting. I mean, they gave us a great fight. They almost came out with the win. And we just have to, watch the film, clean it up, and move on to the next game. And we knew coming into it that we were going to have to rebuild this team. It's not like – I know we got a lot of the same players and a lot of the same coaches, but the NFL it changes every single week, So we got to make sure that or every single year. So we just got to make sure that that we're building a championship caliber team through the regular season and into the playoffs. Give us a chance to try and run it back.
I mean, that really says it all right there. It's one thing to talk like this in August, but it's another to actually show it through the first half of the year and to keep saying it over and over again. So rest up, Chiefs Kingdom. Enjoy the bye week. The Chiefs are 8-1 with 7 games left, and as we saw last year, nobody plays better football down the stretch than this group. I'll see you all in a few weeks as we get ready for the Raiders, but until then, this is Matt McMullen signing off.